The Coach O Show with Luke Tasker.
Hey, Ticat fans, thanks for joining us. We're on the weekly edition of The Coach O Show with Luke Tasker. That's me. I'm joined by Orlondo Steinauer, the Ticats head coach, and on a 2-0 win streak here, tied for first place in the East. Coach, good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's good to be seen. Good to see you, Luke.
Well, fantastic win yesterday. It was very, very fun being up in the booth with RJ Broadhead on the Ticats audio network, but I can promise all the fans listening it was not as fun as being in the locker room after the game. What was it like?
Well, you've been a part of those, Luke. It's always a great time. Anytime you win, winning is tough. And I think it gets lost in just all the hoopla of everything and the expectations of winning. But it is not easy to win. Everybody's putting together game plans to beat you. So I was excited for not just this week, the players, of course, the coaches, everybody, within the football piece of it was very exciting. And what I mean by that is the equipment people, the front office, video department. Those are a given. But what I sensed was the city of Hamilton, the ticket office, the event staff, the people were ready for football. It'd been a long time. And so it wasn't just a great celebration for the team, but it was people walking back to their cars feeling fulfilled. It was the energy that they brought. So I'm just excited for not just ourselves internally, but the organization as a whole, and of course the city of Hamilton. Long time coming.
Yeah, it was just a great day. I got to see some folks after the game, like you said, in the business side, in the ticket side, Denise in the Ticat store. Just
right.
Great to see some people who I really hadn't been able to talk with since before the Grey Cup in 2019, or the Grey Cup week, 2019, and the world was on lockdown, and the Ticats and all the other sports franchises were all, of course, on lockdown. And this was a really great day for Hamilton to get back in the stadium. And just a great day on the field. Certainly not perfect. There's all kinds of things in every football game to correct, but you guys looked really, really cohesive out there. Is there anything that surprised you as far as how well you guys played, or what are you most proud of the team after that game?
I think just the preparation leading up to it. I felt like the guys were focused. Now the game's always about execution. And I thought that we didn't really panic. We didn't flinch. Even though the scoreboard wasn't reflecting maybe the way the game was going. It was very, I don't think it was, 10-4 for a long time, which is basically 0-0. And I just felt like we just kept chopping wood. And we weren't worried about if the momentum was in our favor or not, or if our big plays were coming, or if we went 2 and out, or we got them to go 2 and out. And they just kept playing. And then the scoreboard ultimately reflected it at the end. And I think when you start getting caught up in the emotions of the game and, we should be and we have to do, you've been part of that. It's just taking you away from your focus. So I think that's what I'm most proud of, is just taking the game as it came and making it manageable.
I like Tommy's analogy that he used to use was, as opposed to chopping wood, he would say pound the rock. And when you hit a rock with a sledgehammer over and over again, and then all of a sudden you see no progress, and then it splits down the middle, and you got to work and work and work without seeing the progress. In some ways, that was the first part of the season. 2 games that it's just a grind, and you're trying to get things right, and things aren't always going your way, and it looks maybe sloppier than it is. It's a game of inches and a game of slight wins, slight edges, and when a number of those don't go your way, it gets ugly. Yeah. But on Labor Day, there were little wins all around the field. It's incredible. We're up in I'd never been up to the 7th floor for a game like this. I'm looking down on the field, and I can see blitzes. You can see contours and defense. It's unbelievable. And I can see Dane Evans. There were multiple times in the first half where I'm seeing the play develop, and I'm saying they're bringing 2 off the edge, and sure enough, Dane got the ball and threw it over top of those blitzers to hit his guy. I mean, he was really seeing some things pretty clearly. It seemed like from me up top, a huge win. And then when you have a touchdown off defense and a touchdown on special teams, it had to have been a pretty proud team meeting, I think, today or tomorrow when you guys get back together.
Yeah, when you can sit here and go to a team meeting and you scored in all three phases, it's not definitely expected on the offensive side, right? But when you can add a defensive and a special teams touchdown, that's pretty special. I don't think that happens a ton. Now, maybe it's become the regular since, we were together since 13. We may have done it a few times, but yeah, that's not a every week feat in football. So when it does, you want to make sure at the end of the day, you don't want everyone to, be talking about these things and having lost the game, right? Then you're talking about moral victory. So it's great to talk about it after a win, and that's the goal, right? And that's the thing that we just have to understand is that we didn't get 4 points or 6 points or 8 points just because it was Labor Day. We got 2 points. It's one win. We needed to win, but we feel like we need to win every week. That's just our approach around here. You know that, and so we're ready to roll up our sleeves, and we know it's going to be. It probably, if not equally, it'll be a lot more tough this next week, and they'll be in their own spot, and that's the fun part about it, right? And you're not fully healed from the first game. There's a little ache and a pain, but you got to be mind over matter, and you got to go out there and do it for the man next to you.
You were proud of the prep leading into Labor Day. What about this week? This is a strange week of prep for a football player. This is how hockey players are supposed to prep for games, in 3 days in between matches. What's it going to look like for you guys getting ready for the second Argo game?
Well, we definitely won't practice a ton, meaning we won't practice hard for a couple of days. It's always that balance between preparation and being as healthy as you can, and how much do you take care of their legs. But at the same time, you got to get some corrections done. And I'd be lying if I said this is exactly what we're going to do. We're still piecing that together of what it's going to look like tomorrow. Yeah. And that's mainly because we haven't done it. This will be our first time doing it this year. On a short week, we are in the middle of a stretch of 4 games in 17 days. And you don't have to be great at math to know you're playing about every 4.5 days. That's what it's going to feel like to the body. So it's going to be a long haul, not just this week, but for the next 2 weeks after this. So we definitely will err on the side of being less reps than more reps this week for sure.
Yeah. I remember growing up, my dad would tell a story of after having played a game with the Bills, he'd finish and he referenced the energy in the locker room of the glow of the game. Like, you see your teammates coming off, and there's nothing like a football player who just won a football game. And so you get that, and especially on Labor Day, especially a home opener after 2 years of not being in a stadium, there's a glow and an energy. And then you wake up the next morning and you feel a different way. And then you wake up the morning after that and you really feel a different way. And so
yes.
You're not far removed from those days and those games yourself to know that sometimes it's the day after, and where you really, really know how you're going to practice that day. So interesting, and certainly there's going to be a mental hill to overcome playing the same team twice. The unique thing about this game was what happened in the second half of the fourth quarter. Bethel Thompson took over, and he had some productive times. Now, everyone can see, it's at a point in a game where the defense gets a little preventative, the offense gets a little bit aggressive, and so some things went their way. What do you think about the Toronto Argonauts offense going into this Friday matchup?
Well, I know that, in reviewing the tape, I thought they had a decent plan, right? It was obvious how they kind of wanted to attack us. I do know that they've got 3 great minds over there, meaning, McAdoo's a former coordinator. Of course, Ryan Dinwiddie is there, and Jarius Jackson have all called plays. So, and, they've all have their own thoughts on, just playing us in years previous. So I think they're extremely talented. There's, a couple plays that maybe could have went their way. And like I said, for a long time, the game really wasn't decided, right? I didn't see really any quit when it came to them. So I expect they'll make some adjustments. I don't expect them to go too far from who they are. as far as their quarterback situation, at the end of the day, I believe they'll run the same plays regardless of who's in there. It's not like you're going from a triple option quarterback to a drop back passer. I'm sure they both have different strengths and different areas of weakness, but I would assume that the play calling would remain somewhat similar. But at the end of the day, you don't know. That's kind of the fun part of it, and that's why you play the game. They can run the ball effectively. I'm sure we're going to get a nice dose of that, and we'll just see how it plays out.
Yeah. Early in the season, Winnipeg, a little bit of Sask had success in the run game, but since then, your guys' defensive front has been it. I can't even find the words to describe it. Calling the games, and that's on the front four. I text Jumal Rolle after this game because I think that he is. I don't think people can complete passes against him right now. I mean, that's how good it seems like he's playing to me. And when the ball comes to him, he's got 2 steps on the receiver. It's like he's running the go route, that they're trying to throw to down the field. It's unbelievable. I don't know. So you can say that they're going to bring some run game approach. I'd take the Ticats defense over anybody right now. It's that impressive watching from the 7th row. But very excited for the upcoming match. I got to ask though, it was an hour before the game. I saw yourself and Sean Burke at center field trying to break up some scuffles. What's your take on the chippiness? Obviously, you played in it. You know about it. It's going to be. What do you think about that, and what do you tell the team about it leading into Friday?
Well, sometimes it's controllable and sometimes it's uncontrollable. Where sometimes I know our guys are going to say hello in their own way, and you don't ever know how it's going to respond from team to team or how the other team's been prepped. You don't know if that's part of their plan or not, but they've got some guys that aren't scared to voice how they think the game's going to go and what they're going to do to people. And we have guys that tend to not want to back down. At the end of the day, none of it affects the outcome of the game. So obviously they're grown, they're able to prepare in the ways that they want to prepare. We don't encourage that type of tone, to be honest with you. You've been around me. We obviously don't back down from much either, but at the same time, it can't be selfish, right? There's been examples in the league in the past where there's been 15-yard penalties to start the game before it's even started. And that's when you cross the line. And so as a coach, you always want to take those examples that have happened in the past and learn from other people's mistakes and make sure that you don't do it. So that's the messaging.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about playing football. That stuff is secondary, that's all they show on the TV, right? It's like it makes the storylines. It makes for people it does make it exciting, but it is Labor Day to a T. It really is. You take the field Friday. It's only been 3 days of rest. What is the thing that you want to see your team increase the most from the game on Monday night?
I would just say mental errors and increase their communication.
Okay.
Physically, I thought we played hard. I thought our effort was good. Listen, we're coaches. We're never satisfied with it. Yeah. But the perfect game has never been played by a player, and a perfect game hasn't been coached by a coach. That doesn't mean we won't strive for it. But there are some things that maybe we emphasized in practice that we'd like to make sure that, we understand that, repeatedly making these type of mental errors at some point may cost us, and we may not be afforded a bigger lead. So I would say increased communication and just maybe attention to detail in some areas in all 3 phases.
Yep. Yeah, certainly. That it was the not free of mental errors, but it was the Argonauts that had a greater number of costly penalties. That was a really, really frustrating thing to watch as just a football game progressed. How costly their penalties were, and maybe that would change if they had made a few less mental errors. And then, of course, I think the score zone efficiency, the first drive down, actually I'm forgetting if it's the first or second now, where a penalty took the Tiger Cats back from the touchdown. And then what almost happened again, except for my man, David Ungerer. Are you going to show that in the team meeting? Like, how's this going to be presented to the team? That was amazing.
Yeah, good for David. And you don't get a ton of opportunities out there.
Yeah.
But when you do, you'd like to make the most of it. Normally, you're catching a hitch and getting yourself knocked off there. People are barreling down on you. You're running routes to clear out for other people. But when you get an opportunity to get the ball in your hands and make the most of it, I was just happy for him. More importantly, I was excited for our team. We needed a play there. Dane stepped up and scrambled, and he wasn't satisfied with just catching it, but obviously doing something with the football. So great job there,
That was fantastic. Great to watch. I saw him carry the ball off the field too. So I hope Drew kept that one aside for Ungerer so they can have that at home.
Drew's the best. He's got it put away for him.
I have 2 on my shelf from Drew that he Sharpied for me and everything and marked. So, Coach, excellent. It's once again looking like a very, very exciting season. It's shaping up just to be a great match in the East. And this Friday will set the Ticats in, could potentially set them in a really great position moving forward. Coach, thanks for your time. This is the Coach O Show with Luke Tasker, our weekly update with Orlondo Steinauer, and very, very excited for Friday, Coach. Proud of you guys, and it's just fun to watch and be in the stadium while you guys are doing your thing.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. I look forward to next week.